Hey guys, I am sorry that there was not a video on Tuesday, but I am back and I want to start this video by saying that we are living in such a crazy and somewhat scary time, but I want you to really focus on the video today and try and learn as much as you can. I'm going to start out by reviewing from the past videos. So if you see me looking down, I've got my laptop with some notes on it. So first, we're going to talk about how we develop our trust in people based on our personal experiences. And let me give you an example. Let's say that you are in a hospital for something, and your aunt or your uncle comes to visit you in the hospital. That shows that they are concerned for your health and you can trust those people. All right, people demonstrate that they care about you through their actions, not just their words, but from what they actually do. People demonstrate their lack of trust whenever they break a promise. If somebody breaks a promise, then you probably should not trust that person in the future. But it's up to you if you trust them or not. Their actions will tell you if they are trustworthy. So always be watching what people do, if they break promises, or if they always keep their promises. Finally, our body gives us an uneasy feeling when we are around someone that we don't trust. That's our internal signals telling us that something might be off. These uneasy feelings make us aware of what's around us. So when we feel threatened, we may choose to move closer to people that we trust. So, for example, if you were out with your parents and you kind of wandered off in the store just looking around and you felt a little uncomfortable, you would probably go back to your parents because they're someone that you trust. Watch what I'm about to do with these cards and see if you can figure out what's going on. I got my roommate to participate and choose which pile of cards she wanted to use. Can you believe that I actually chose her card? Well, just in case you're skeptical, I got her to do it again. So let's take a look. What I just showed you is a trick. A trick is a trap that is done to mislead a person. Some tricks, like card tricks, can be fun. Some people use other types of tricks to try and take advantage or hurt someone. Now I want you to think back to when you were a kid. Did you ever tell a lie? I know I did. Did you ever tell a lie to cover up something that you knew was wrong? And did you ever try and blame it on your brother or sister because you were afraid that you would get punished? Let's take a look at the definition of a lie. A lie is not the truth. Nobody likes to be fooled by a liar. A person who lies to you should not be trusted. Some people lie with the intention of hurting another person. Now that we have talked about lies, let's talk about something called practiced liars. It's difficult for most people, even myself, to know when somebody is lying. Practiced liars are the experts of lying. They know how to hide their facial expressions so that you can't tell if they are or are not telling the truth, and this can be very dangerous. A practiced liar may also enjoy lying and may get a thrill out of it. So we need to know how to detect these lies and these people who are practiced liars. Now I'm going to read a story that ABC News did on an experiment with a teen about opening the door to a man who was a complete stranger. Now keep in mind, this was an experiment and the teen's parents were actually in a van down the street so they could actually watch what happened. So this was all an experiment, but you need to listen really closely to the story. It's very important. On a hot afternoon in California, Bob Stuber knocked on the door of a house where 14-year-old Stephanie Walsh was home alone. "Hi," he told her. "Your neighbors are having a garage sale going on, and I just bought some bedroom furniture. I need to call my wife to bring our pickup truck, and your neighbor's phone is disconnected. Could I use yours real quick?" Stephanie's parents have warned her about letting a stranger into the house, so she fetched a cordless phone and gave it to him on the porch. But when he said he was having trouble hearing, she let him in and walked off down the hall, leaving him to enter the house behind her. Stephanie's mother, Jill, who was listening in on the conversation, was horrified. "It makes your stomach turn," she told Stuber afterward. "She's totally clueless. No fear at all right now. She'd do anything." Do you think the man is telling the truth? No, the man was lying. Think about the story. Which part of the man's story might be untrue? One part of the man's story that might be untrue is that the neighbors were having a garage sale going on. Another part of the man's story that might be untrue is that he needs to call his wife to bring the pickup truck and that the neighbor's phone is disconnected. Lastly, the man might not be telling the truth about having trouble hearing over the phone. Now we're going to talk about a concept called being guarded. Remember in the first video, I believe, we talked about how recognizing people's facial expressions tells us how they are feeling. So let's take a look at this facial expression. He's looking out of the corner of his eyes with his mouth scrunched and cocked to one side. His eyebrows are angled toward the center of his forehead. You might say that the man looks doubtful, cautious, guarded, and distrustful. These words also describe the feeling of being suspicious. No matter which word you use, when you have this feeling, you need to take a moment to stop and think about what is happening and say, The next step after you step back and think about it is to ask yourself questions such as, is this real or fake? Is this a trick? You need to understand that the concepts of real and fake have opposite meanings. Real can be described as true, genuine, and actual. Fake is the opposite. It's not true or genuine. It's false. To determine if something is real, we usually look for clues and proof that are solid. Okay? We need to find clues by listening carefully, asking questions, and seeking assistance or help from others. If the proof is not clear, then the situation requires caution. In other words, when in doubt, be careful. Back to the story of the teenager named Stephanie. Some things that she could have done to be more safe in that situation is to, 1, do not let a stranger into your house under any circumstances. And 2, she could have politely asked him to leave and could have shut the door, or could have called her parents, especially since she knew that she was not supposed to talk to strangers. Now I want to take a few minutes and talk about the profile of a predator. The first thing that you need to know is that predators are usually practiced liars. They want to target vulnerable people with the aim of hurting or taking advantage of them. They spend time carefully targeting a victim and creating the opportunity to commit the crime or offense through planning, setting the situation, gaining trust, and using lures. There are human predators out there that actually seek out vulnerable people. Vulnerable people include children, women, people with disabilities, and senior citizens. Predators will spend their time in places where they can be close to their victims. They watch for opportunities to lure the victim into a location where the predator has complete control over the person. A predator may spend days or months developing a plan for how they are going to catch a victim. Looks alone cannot determine if a person is a threat. Choose the person that you think is the predator. Actually, there is no right answer. You need to make sure that you look at a person's actions and not just how a person looks. We usually imagine predators being mean and bad-looking, but a predator may be young or old, male or female, attractive or unattractive. A predator can be a man or a woman, but the majority of time they are men. When a predator catches his victim and holds them against their will, this is called abduction or kidnapping. It is not clear why or how the predator chooses their victims. It may be to hurt and kill the victim or to take something from them. A predator will hide their motives by pretending to be helpful or to be a friend. Once they gain the person's trust, they will then take advantage of the victim. To sum up this video, I'm going to discuss some points that we have already talked about. 1, we really don't know who is a threat to us just by looking at them. 2, typically a predator seeks out vulnerable people such as children, minorities, women, people with disabilities, and the elderly. We don't always know if the predator has targeted somebody or just picked somebody at random. 3. The predator has a plan to hurt the victim. They spend time in places where they can be close to the potential victim and will watch for opportunities to target that person into a place where they are in control. And finally, be cautious when approached by someone who makes you feel uncomfortable, especially if that person says or does something strange. We will continue talking about this topic on Tuesday, but I want you guys to all have a wonderful weekend and try to stay dry because I know that it's going to be stormy. All right, I'll see you guys on Tuesday.